Well, we've been doing all this Temple of the Dog, and it dawned on me that we did not do the Say Hello to Heaven solo. In my opinion, one of the most iconic solos. So here we go. Check it out. We're going to start on the E string, the big E string, 10th fret. We're going to hammer up to 12, and then A10, 12-10, 12-14 slide, up to D12. Now we're going to D12 to 14, all the way up to G12, and here we're going to slide up to 14, but that's kind of just an incidental thing. We need to slide our finger up there to get to what we're doing next. So here's what we've got so far. And here's what we're doing next. It's kind of the opposite from what's always done. And what's always done is, for instance, if you grab the B15 and grab the G14 and even put your pointer finger behind your middle finger on G13 so you can bend with the strength of two fingers, normally what we do is strum these two strings and bend the G string but not the B string, like Dissident, right? I'd have had different fingers in place. Anyways, what we're aspiring to do here is once we slide up to G14, I'm going to put my ring finger down on the B15. I'm going to sneakily put my middle finger in between my pointer finger and my ring finger like we just talked about, and then I am going to aspire to bend the string first. So after I pluck the B string, we're going to unbend it. So it's B string followed by the unbend, if you will, on the G14. You're not going to do it perfect. In the track it's not perfect, but that's the idea. So use the time when the B string is louder to bend the G string. And that's a new one for me. And then we're going to grab the E string, 15th fret, pull it off to 12. Do the exact same thing on the B string. And then on the G string, it's 14-12, because we are in the E minor pentatonic shape number 1. 12-15, 12-14, 12-14, 12-14, 12-15, 12-15. So this just follows it to a T. Then you pluck a little bit more on that G12 until you do the same thing again. But this time we go G12, 14, 12. Here's the section. Which sets up this. You're going to bend G14, pluck it twice more once it's bent, and then you're going to pluck it and unbend it. 12, D14, G12 twice. And here's a move. G14, bend it, and pull off to G12. So one pluck, that's like 2 notes, 3 notes, and landing on the G14. One more time without the flubbed note. Much better. And here comes arguably the funnest part. We're going to aspire to slide on the G string like really far. It doesn't matter where you start. Just start somewhere way down here, and we're ending up at 16. That's the thing you could just practice all day till you never miss that 16. I'm using my middle finger because we're going to reach back to B15. And we're going to bounce twice between the B15 and the G16, up to B17 that time, and all the way up to E15. Is that move? And now we're solidly up in this 15 and 17 area of the tiny strings, and you're going to do one bounce back and forth between the E15 and the B17, and then you're going to bend E17 once, twice, 4 more times, a bend with a release, an unbend, landing on the E15. So, 2, 3, 4. Now on the B string, 15, 17, 15. To the G string, 12, 14. Back to 12, and D14. G12, bending G14, reaching for the B15, and then that kind of little move with the bendy G plus the B15. So, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. By the way, this little move in there, I call it the silent night move. It's amazing what rhythm does. Mini segment for a brain break. G14, you're going to give it a bend, but you're going to take forever to start bending. That's where you get to be expressive with your bending. It's the same note, right? But he just bends it a little differently each time. Big long one. Quick. And then a bend release. Is what happens next. Okay, so we just left off with our ring finger on the G14. You're going to slide that up to 16. Then you're going to sneak your pointer finger back to the B15 and hammer on to 17. Followed by 3 baby E15s. Back to the B17. And then 5 baby E15s. Back to the B17. And here's the best move ever. You're going to put your pointer finger on the B15 and the E15. You're just going to pluck the B string. You're going to hammer up to 17 before you pluck the E string 15th fret. I call this hammer triplets because we're hammering on and it's triplets. You do 3 sets of hammer triplets just like that. And the last one is the same notes in the same order, but a slightly different rhythm. And then you do that. So, I'll go from the bends. And that brings us down here. Which is conveniently exactly where we want to be, man. I remember when this song would come on the radio or when I'd put it on the CD, this was this little bend at the end, this huge bend at the end of the solo was always the part I looked forward to most and enjoyed the hell out of. What we do, it's this move we've just talked about, right? But it's an octave lower, 12 frets lower, and when we get down to the nut, everything is more difficult to bend. So here's what I suggest. Put your ring finger on the B3, put your middle finger on the G2, and just smush your pointer finger, maybe even in the 2nd fret as well, because you almost can't bend on the 1st fret. So the difference here is I'm going to try to sneak both of those fingers into the 2nd fret, and it's the move we just talked about, normal style. We're bending up, not unbending. So the G string and the B string, you're going to try to bend the G string, but not the B string. To the open G string. I can't hear it. Here we go. Right? So, bend, bend, release. Release means unbend. Bend, 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 release, pull off. Followed by classic rock guitar solo move number 1 in the book. I love it. Pluck the G string in the 5th fret, then you're going to pluck the E string in the 5th fret after that, and you're going to slide them both up to the 7th fret. We see that exact same thing in Yellow Ledbetter, for instance. Same exact thing, different key. Anyways, that's the Say Hello to Heaven solo. It's Thanksgiving week. I'm thankful that you're here. I am thankful for the role that this guitar solo and this song has played in my life. So thanks so much for being here to share that with me, and I'll see you next time with more stuff. Goodbye.